So it was good to see that the Dork Order is all back together and friendly again. They're not fighting anymore. The Dork Order, a.k.a. 9 wasted paychecks. Have you noticed that Colt Cabana is standing so far back in the back of that group to avoid being noticed? It looks like he's doing the thing where he's backing slowly out the door while facing forward so you can't tell he's leaving.
It does seem like that, yeah.
He looks
He
like
was the biggest star of all of them before this.
He was the biggest name of the bunch when he started.
I'm not saying he's the biggest star of all time or anything, but he had a fan following. He had a podcast. He was doing shows all around the world for years. Again, smaller shows. He had a little bit of a run in WWE. He doesn't say a word. He doesn't wrestle. He just stands in the back while all these guys do their shtick.
And he looks so tiny all the way back there. But he's collecting the check and saving the wear and tear on his body and hoping that Punk doesn't notice that he's still there, so he asks Tony to fire him.
Let me just quickly ask, because we do get questions, and let me get it out of the way here. We do get questions in the drive-thru asking, shouldn't Tony do Punk and Cabana? Isn't that the big money feud?
Are you fucking ribbing?
I'm not ribbing. I'm telling you, these are the questions coming in. I don't think that they're logical, but what do you think?
Number one, I would think in that case, it doesn't really matter what Tony Khan wants to do or not do. He can get mad or get glad or get over it, because I would assume that Punk, since he has excommunicated Cabana from his life for reasons that we do not know as of yet, but must have been pretty juicy. They went from best friends and bosom buddies to by the time the lawsuit was finished, to suing each other. CM Punk doesn't have to work. If he told Triple H, I don't have to work with you, you have to work with me, you think he's going to I got to work with Colt Cabana now because Tony Khan says so. Secondly, are you out of your fucking ever-loving mind? Colt Cabana was a darling on the independent scene and has a ton of people that just loved him to death when they would go visit him in a rec center somewhere for Ian Rotten or whatever. But Punk's a real star. And no, that wouldn't be a big money match. It'd be the same thing we're talking about. Instead of CM Punk versus Matt Sydal, people be going, CM Punk versus Colt Cabana? Fuck. That need to be competitive for 10 minutes? Because, again, these independent guys that lived in their independent bubble, that assumed that they were all over like God and Rover, because their small crowds in their indie shows cheered for all their goofy bullshit and comedy, they're in the big leagues now on national television. And Colt Cabana is nobody compared to CM Punk on a mainstream basis, and that would not draw any money because the only people that would know why in the world it was even taking place are already in the building. They're all the smart marks that live their life on the goddamn internet and love this shit to begin with. It wouldn't draw a single new fan. I'm telling you, and I've been here with Ring of Honor, AEW is in a position where the more that they try to bring in mainstream talent and the more they try to really make moves to have decent matches and programs that get people over and point to fucking top matches, the more problem they're going to have from their little club of private fans that don't want anything to change and want 45 million Lucha Brothers gymnastics matches with special referee Olga Corbett, because that's all they like about wrestling. And there's not enough of them to fucking, as Ring of Honor showed. But you remember when Ring of Honor had the opportunity to go on television, bring in name stars, change to a more appealing product from a mainstream standpoint for multitudes of wrestling fans instead of just the goddamn people that have no other life but to follow this incessantly. They were mad that their private club had been infringed on and they wanted all their flippy-doo Jack Evanses back. This was the crowd that said the Super Smash Brothers were the greatest tag team in wrestling. And trying to appeal just to those people has bankrupted every fucking company that's tried it. And poor Kerry Silkin had to sell to Sinclair.
Oh, poor Kerry Silkin.
Well, I'm just telling you. So He'll be all right. He's not hurting for fucking dinner this week.
I wish he was.
But, oh, come on. But that's the point, is that there's a civil war amongst the fans. If you try to make it a legitimate professional wrestling promotion with mainstream stars and good-looking work and sensible shit instead of the gymnastics and the tomfoolery and the independent bullshit, their base audience will, at the same time as they're getting new people in on one side, their base audience will start cussing them on the other side because they don't want to see that, because it makes too much sense for them. So that's where they're at.